Hey, what's up guys? It's Manisha here. I know I usually don't do something like this when it comes to a vlog, but I feel like this was probably the best approach to try to kind of send a message, because everybody's had their own type of comments and type of rants about why AA is dying, why it's declining, but honestly, from experience, I might as well show you the reasons why I think it's fucking dying. Okay. The reason why I think AA seems to be having a type of decline is because of blogging. Now you're probably confused, but here, let me give you an example. The fonts, the photo edits, the content. Now how do I put this in better terms? We've made it a fact where users try to value others on content and how much they input in their blogs, and honestly, that's where the fault lies in the way we think. And I can say the best example of people who do in-depth blogging is like, I don't do shit like that, but say for example like Tuna God, James Murder, and a Monster, the Shogo, all those users, who do like some heavy type of ass research, and it like blows your mind. And it's interesting to see that type of thing, but as the time went by, that more users started to do more research based kind of things, that kind of gave it the influence that everybody had to do the same thing. AA back then, like in June 2012, the summer, the golden age of AA was so simple. And the intention of AA is that it tried to mimic other anime sites. For example, my anime list, I don't really know other anime websites, but you get the idea. You go to the forums, you see a blog, it's just a picture, and it's just like a paragraph, a description of why this person likes this anime, and the comments. AA was about the comments. There would be a discussion. You would discuss it with your other followers, your coherents, your peers, and that's what made AA shine back then, because the comments. It was just so simple like that. People didn't really blog as much as users do nowadays. It's kind of rare. Back then, if bloggers were there, you guys would be looked, and you guys would probably be frowned upon, because nobody really wanted to read anything. They just wanted to be recommended something and just go on, because that's how everybody used to be. We didn't come here to the intention where we had to do something to find research and just base it on something. Sure, it's okay if you want to blog like this, but the problem is that there's some users, for example myself, where I made a hierarchy of how we should blog. That's the problem. We shouldn't be forcing how other users have to be blogging. That scares new users away. Now what more? As I said, blogs back then were just so simple. Couple pictures and a paragraph. I know that's kind of looked frowned upon now. I know that's like looked down upon now, but the thing is, that's how it was, and that's how simple it was. It was all about the comments. It's the comments. And now people don't comment no more. You make a review, you make any type of blog, people just comment one thing and that's it. Nobody talks at all. That's the boring part. That's exactly where it's fucking dying. People don't like to talk. There's like it doesn't matter what people create. Like, sure, it's cool and it's nice. You put some effort, people recognize that. But in the end of the day, the next day, nobody even remembers or even cares about it. Unless they happen to be, like, referring to it in some way. And that's one thing that everybody seems to overlook, the simplicity. People think it was just too simple. That's the problem we have now. It's too simple. People think that it's bad. Now, when it comes to recommendations, which was the whole input of AA, which is the intent, you just recommend anime, people will talk about it. Honestly, I can't remember the last time I've discussed about an anime, like in-depthly, where we had like 100 comments. It's been so fucking long before I did that. Now it's like I just do recommendations, and people do recommendations, and they just simply talk, and it's over. You don't get into it. You don't put any effort. You don't no thought. That's where it all just seems to decline, because people just read. Honestly, people just read and just comment once, and that's it. Then you just gotta restart. You gotta redo your blog again, or make another blog, and that's boring. I've been doing this whole blogging scheme for like about a year now, where I have to put in some research. It's fun and all, but it's like people don't like to talk to each other no more. I make myself recommendations, people just tell me they love it. They don't want to be, oh, you want to discuss this, let's go about it. People don't like to do that no more. And I think the fault is that it's us bloggers, because we made it a fact where it's more important to blog than to just comment, because we put out something for readers to read. Yeah, that's nice and all, but it's making it seem AA is like a library, not really a socializing place. What do I go through now? Okay. Now, we know that, simple as it is, now we tend to look at the negativity of how blogs that are too small are bad. But honestly, that's just how it is. And at the same time, blogs that are too long are also bad. Because there are some users, I'm not going to specify names, that just write a shit ton. And it's like, it's cool, they do that, it's informative, they do research, it's like hella crazy and all. But, I speak for all of us when I say that we don't fucking read everything. We skim through the whole blog, because that's honestly what I do. A long ass blog, I just skim and scan, read it all the way to the end as it is, or I just practically like the blog and comment straight away. I don't know what is it about me. Call me rude or something, unfollow me if you want, but if you have too much, I'm not gonna read it. I mean, I could if it's like important, I can understand that, but if it's something like some kind of a recommendation or something, it's like, the reviews have gone too out of bounds. It's like a review is just simply, what's it about and then why you like it and that's it. But now people are like, just giving description of characters, which is what I'm doing. But honestly, I've been following this fad. They give a synopsis and it's like, what the fuck? And I'm like, what is this? People, another thing is that AA has gotten too soft. People can't take a comment. I'm very criticizing, and some people would know that. If there's a page on Popular, I will come at you and I will fucking tell you why you don't deserve to be on there. And honestly, it's not like it's meant to be a coincidence or not. But AA back then, people could take a comment. They were like, oh yeah, well, describe this and that, and they're like, okay, we understand. But now people are too fucking soft. You tell them that, you give them a bad comment, and they just get at you like crazy. And it's like, what the fuck? Users don't say anything in particular. They try so hard to demand why they deserve to be where they are, from a popularity perspective. There are some people who try to escape reality with AA, and it's like, when you're popular, you think you have some type of glory, and it's like, no. Some people are here to give you a reality check, and I'm here to give a fucking reality check. We're the reason why it's been so boring. And it's annoying when people just blog, and it's like, they don't really specify to what goal they're doing. Okay. Next up is rants. Now, this isn't a rant. This is more of an informative kind of thing to convince you or something. But seriously, if you're going to stick to ranting, fucking saying the same thing all over again, which has been done all the time, just shut the fuck up. Like, seriously. Keep your fucking mouth shut. If you're not going to offer a solution, if you're not going to offer projects and, things I've been doing, like to liven things up, if you're not going to do anything about it, just keep your fucking mouth shut. Nobody needs to hear your sass comments. Because the same topics have been repeated all over again. Reputation, followers, mega followers, the popularity is so bad, users of content, say something new. If you don't got shit to say, if you don't got nothing to do about it, don't do it. Like, for real. You're just adding flame to the fire. It's like, it does nothing, it just gives a negative impact. That's another thing that's been giving us a decline. Out of nowhere, everybody start doing rants. And people think I do rants as well. No, I do satires. I do memes. I make fun of AA in a different type of way. And everybody should know that. Like, it has to stop. Stop ranting. If you're not going to offer a solution, don't do it. If you got some rants, okay, just keep them to yourself. Or just tell people. But if you're going to deliver the message, we hope you got a solution. Because if there's no solution, people get the influence, there's going to be no solution. And when it comes to problems, we all like to avoid it. And because ranting has become such a problem, people avoid ranting. Not only that, people avoid AA. Because honestly, it's been stressing from all the efforts that we gotta do. Honestly, it's like the reason why I want to leave AA too. I just read rants all over. I don't really read rants, proto to you who just gives you time, and it's like, you feel like you want to give a damn about the community, but people just care about themselves. Let's not lie about it, Okay. You don't really help the community if you're gonna bitch about something. Like, for real. You just try to give yourself an image like you seem like you care, and it seems like you matter. But if, try to do something. Call me a hypocrite. I don't care, but you call me whatever the fuck you want, because I'll tell you right back in your fucking face. Honestly, AA will never return the way it was before. It never will. And honestly, the whole golden age, is more of an exaggeration. I might as well just pop the balloon because right now that's what it is. We're trying to aim at the goal where we're trying to return AA back to the way it was. But honestly, if we offered this kind of AA right now to what it was back then, it probably would have even been better. The problem is that AA is old news. It's done. It's old now. It's like my enemy list. Nobody goes on there no more. And it's the same thing about AA. It's old now. And the things that made it worse are the Amino apps. TV, K-pop, Minecraft, gaming. I understand they're separate, but they give an influence just to like separate them. And it's like you're separating the popularity. If AA was by itself and there was no K-pop, none of that shit, it could have been a slight difference. Because you broke up some of the audiences that also like K-pop, also like Minecraft, and they were like, some people have gaming, and it's like, some of those blogs just aren't allowed, and it's like, we can't really share nothing. I remember back then there used to be contests. People would participate. Why is it people don't participate now in anything? Why is it you just, when contests where anybody can join, you know, there were challenges that were even more interesting that they are, you know, the creative users have left because it's just boring, because the rants give us some influence to not go back anymore, and the blogging. We are the reason why. We scare new users. Let's not try to hide from the truth. How would you feel if you was a new user and you were expected to follow the guidelines, which nobody reads? It's got to be like forced in your face to understand. And now you get yourself another type of guidelines to how to be successful in an AA. And it's like, we didn't, you know, you new user would come and they're like, why do we got to do this? Fuck that. You know, they're expecting so much of me, I'd get so little from it. You know, that's just the problem. AA was never meant to be the way as it is now. I guess the best comparison, the worst comparison, is like a mistake, like Super Smash Bros. Melee. It's not meant to be competitive, but it's a casual gameplay. Something like that. If you don't get the reference, well, don't bother. What else are we going to do? So that's honestly the reason why it's been in such a decline. Because honestly, nobody likes to do research. When it comes to blog, I think a typical blog is like something so small, and where it matters is the comments. But people don't like to talk now. And I think another factor that made AA decline was kick and line. Because users aren't being so connected there. Instead, they're connecting in another spot. And when they do that, you form groups. You get some people who get in there, you know, get their head up their ass, who think they're so different. And it's like they gotta be so uptight and shit. You know, they gotta make like a little small clique, and they gotta be thinking they're better. They gotta be talking shit behind people they can't really confront it to that. It's like, wow, you're gonna be like that? Then go ahead. You know, these things kind of separated and all. And it's like, if you're expecting AA to go back to the way it was, well, you can just kiss that dream goodbye, because it's never gonna happen. We can't remake what has been done before. We can only make new experiences. But the only way to make this big change is that we gotta stop with the rants. We gotta stop with like pathetic blogging that's just like not even related to it. There can be simple blogs. It's allowed. It can't be frowned upon because that's how it started here. That's something that everybody forgets. And it's like, if you don't understand that, you're not going to understand the true intent of AA. It's not about blogging. It's not about, well, yes, you know, you're there to connect and you're there to meet people who share the same interests in you. But how are you going to share the same interest in somebody if you're just going to read their blog comment and they don't want to talk about it? The forums are a wasteland. All it is just ridiculous polls. Seriously, people have got to fucking think for a minute. And it's like, if you're not going to make a poll, which is interesting because, seriously, it's been the same recycled topics. And it's like, you know, who's better, who's cuter, what do you think, who was this, stop that. Like, polls were, like, I honestly thought anime isn't meant to be compared in any other way. But honestly, that just blew my mind away and just blew me wrong. And it's like, it's amazing how people can recycle the same shit. Seriously, I remember back then, the fad was, what should I watch next? The fad now is like, fucking challenges. All of a sudden, you know, the AA awards, you know, there's like a spin-off. People follow trends. People copy ideas. And some people get mad about that. No, you can't get mad about that because it's been done ever since. I remember contests converted into challenges. Now it's converted to projects. Now people don't do that. Users are trying to expect something from someone to make a change. And it's like, no. As a community, we got to make an effort all within ourselves. Now, if I'm wrong anywhere, try to change me, but I'm going to be arrogant about it. But this is where I feel the reason why it's been declined, because we as bloggers try to push that intent that in order for you to be a part of us, you know, it's like you gotta blog heavily, you gotta make some fancy edits, you gotta do your research. No, it's like people don't want to do that. People want to be simple. Just have a simple profile picture, just be there to talk, you know, just discuss about it. And that's something that we seem to forget. And honestly, that's where we take AA for granted. Like, if we're not there to like really share, I honestly can't tell you the last time I've been recommended was a manga, was like a week ago. But the last time I was recommended truly was about a month ago, which was one of my friends who recommended me Shiki. That's the last time anybody recommended me anything good that I continued. You know, I don't discuss about anime and manga no more. And, you know, more mainstream anime is all over there. When AA started, there were so many hidden gems. So many types of anime. The animes popular back then on AA was Black Butler and Vampire Knight. I've only seen Black Butler out of the popularity, but that was like a while ago. But now it's Fairy Tail. It's like Naruto. And honestly, you know, it's okay to talk about that, but the fact is that everybody keeps talking. Why doesn't somebody talk about something new? Be creative on your own. Everybody talks about Naruto and all that. And it's like, I don't mind it. I like Naruto, but it's like the same thing all over again. The same polls, who's sexier, who's, you know, it's like annoying. And it's like, even, it's more hilarious when I see users in a poll comparing one character and enough. And you know, one could whoop the other's ass, but the other tried. You know, there's that. And then there's Yaoi and Yuri. It's not really a problem. And I know that's kind of like an anime thing, but the problem is that it wasn't so bad as it was back then. But now it's like all over. Now, I'm not trying to like pin at you guys, say this is your fault, but this is like, how do I wrap this up? This is for us to be thinking, and this is hopefully if any of the ambassadors are watching this, to which is probably a fucking long video, but if you've been here this long, I applaud you. Try to think of what, if you're really going to make an idea from the ambassadors or the moderators. I don't know, who knows what we'll expect in the future. We don't know what they promise. They seem promising, you know, something different, and it's caused a stir because it's like controversial, and it's like thinking, honestly, I thought the same as well. I thought the ambassadors were chose out of popularity, to which, honestly, there's a bit of a slight favoritism within them, because, you know, let's not deny the truth. But at the same time, these are people who made a difference, who were trying to put an effort. I mean, I would try to join the ambassadors probably in the next month, but the problem is that I'd rather be the devil's advocate. While you guys have a good idea, I'd be the one to tell you this can happen, it's not going to work. You know, something like that. So, try to think as a new user who comes in and expected of all this stuff, you know? It's like that you drive them away, you scare them away. Now, lastly, the Hangouts. It's been the most fucking boringest thing ever. Like, it is so fucking hilarious. So hilarious because so many people get away with so much shit. There's like pornographic blogs. There's like kids role-playing, having sex and shit, and it's like blew in. It's like, yeah, I kind of think I kind of joined it, but it was like, it was so funny. And it's like, these things just make it negative because it just drowns more what AA is already in the slums. Because if we're going to make a change, we got to make a big overhaul. And it's not just ambassadors, where the ambassadors are going to be expecting us users to cooperate with it. And if we're not going to do that, it's a lost cause. You know? It's like we got to pitch in an effort. You can't always expect a few people just to make a miracle for you. So in conclusion, these are the type of things that I wanted to point out that makes AA truly boring. And honestly, nobody can really understand most of this unless if you've been here for quite some time. Unless you've been here for more than 2 years, and you would probably agree with me. And if you don't, if you've been here for like a year and 30 days or a year and a, you might understand it a little bit, but honestly, that's how it was back then, and that's how it's meant to be. You know? It's meant to mimic other anime sites. It wasn't intended to be like a whole fucking library. But it's like, it can be that way, but at the same time, everybody's trying to push the limit where it has to be like that. Where everybody, there's no creativity because there's blogs of people identifying what other users are like. You know, what you should do in order to like maximize your blogging skills. And it's like, no, you can't be like that. You know, that's the uniqueness. You know, all the people who I follow are the ones that have true intent to the blogs, but at the same time, they try to be creative and unique on their own, put an effort into who they are, and also just like their personality. Now, you don't have to be making good content. You just got to be really chill with me, and we be talking, you know. But people don't like to talk back, and then sometimes, you know, that kind of drives it away. That's why people just like leave AA, and honestly, that's why I got the influence too. I went on hiatus for like a week, and it felt like the best thing ever because I'm not stressing myself. And by the time I came back, which is about like 2 days ago when this video's uploaded, I just fucking stressed myself over again thinking about what I should just rant about next time because it's like ridiculous. It's like, it's a stress. It's like, it just simply went from socializing to just being a chore. But, you know, this is like hopefully to get a good idea on what we should change. But we all have to put equal effort. And it's like we all stand for one, we all fall for one. You know? Let's make a difference somewhere. You know, put in effort somewhere. Unless, you know, we're all busy and that's understandable. And, you know, things will get worse. But if not, I guess the best thing we can possibly do is just remember the moments and just stick with our friends. And it's like, you know, well, alright, just might as well wrap this up. This is way too long, but hopefully you guys understand my message. This is probably the last time I'll ever do something like this, but peace out, AA.